From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Businesses across the country closed as hundreds of immigrants refused to work. We're following the Day Without Immigrants protest.
This isn't about being mean or being hateful. It's our immigration laws.
Phoenix votes on whether or not to become a sanctuary city, and emotions ran high.
Plus, new cabinet nominations and the Russian leaks. We've got the latest from D.C.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Danielle Kernkamp.
And I'm Adriana de Alba. Thank you for joining us. On a day when hundreds of immigrants nationwide are refusing to go to work, President Donald Trump promises a new executive order on immigration.
We're issuing a new executive action next week that will comprehensively protect our countries.
Some businesses in Arizona closed their doors and their employees stayed home as part of a nationwide effort to highlight the contributions of immigrants to the economy. A Day Without Immigrants is also a protest of recent immigration enforcement actions. I visited a few Valley businesses to find out why they felt the need to send this message.
Barrio Cafe closed all 3 of its locations, leaving nothing but this sign on the door, telling people don't work, don't buy, stay home. It's all part of a Day Without Immigrants. Barrio's well-known chef declined an interview because it was important for her to stay home to show support for immigrants. Other Valley businesses also shut down.
We're losing money. Our employees also did not work today, but we have to show that we are an economic force.
During his 18 years running food trucks, Hernandez has only closed Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. The immigration crackdown hits close to home for his family.
My mom was deported 5 years ago, and she was a hardworking person. She's still in Mexico after 5 years and can't come back.
But others could not afford to support the boycott by staying home. We spoke to a Valley worker during his lunch break.
I have to work because otherwise I won't get paid for the day. I have to work to support my family.
Those participating in the Day Without Immigrants hope the president hears their message.
Hispanics are hardworking people. A majority of us come here to work. We love this country, and we're here not by birth. We are Americans by choice.
And several Valley school districts report lower than average attendance rates, but could not confirm whether it's because of the nationwide protest. They did, however, have a number of parents call in to excuse their students due to the protest.
Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva tells Cronkite News he's concerned over the uptick in arrests and deportation actions by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He says the agency is not only targeting hardened criminals, and recent raids are not business as usual.
To me, it was not a coincidence. Ninth Circuit slaps down the Trump administration because of the Muslim ban. That night, these things start. And if it's a practice run, we need to know that. And if it's not a practice run, then what is the criteria by which you are going forward?
Phoenix will not be a sanctuary city after a 7-2 vote yesterday. Cronkite News reporter Lily Altavina covered the hearing last night, and Cronkite reporter Alexa Stucraft explains what happened and what this means going forward.
I spoke with Mayor Greg Stanton this morning about where Phoenix stands after last night's vote, and also where he stands on this controversial topic. A citizen's request to designate Phoenix as a sanctuary city was denied last night after heated discussions.
This isn't about being mean or being hateful. It's our immigration laws.
Can I see everybody that would like for our mayor and our city council to stand, please, now? And be a sanctuary city. There you have it.
Thank you very much.
The bill violated SB 1070 and put the city at risk of losing millions of dollars in federal funding. The request stemmed from President Donald Trump's executive order on immigration, which eliminated asylum provisions and requires undocumented immigrants to be detained while waiting for court cases. Phoenix residents spoke about their feelings on the vote.
I came here legally, and I cannot see why people feel that they can just run into the backyard of your house and expect that you take care of them.
Others didn't agree.
They're using us as a scapegoat, and what we really need is true leadership from our city council and from our mayor. We need them to stand up and defy and stop collaborating with immigration forces.
For Puente, the priority is to continue to protect and organize our communities. Once we have that done, we will continue to push elected officials like the mayor, like the council people, to make sure that our families are safe and not at risk of deportation.
Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton said today that he doesn't want officers to become part of a massive deportation force.
We need our officers focused in on crime prevention, solving crimes, building community trust. If we were to engage in a 287G agreement with the Trump administration, that would be just the opposite. It would hurt community trust. Less witnesses and victims would come forward and work with our police department. That would be a very bad thing for the city of Phoenix.
Going forward, Stanton will create a subcommittee to focus on President Trump's recent executive order. It will look at improving policing and how to help families that could be affected. Live in the Broadcast Center, Alexis Stucraft, Cronkite News.
The discussion of how to secure our southern border continues on Capitol Hill. Congresswoman Martha McSally held a hearing today, and she talked about the dangers and sophistication shown by the cartels and other transnational criminal organizations. Cronkite News reporter Anthony Marroquin was at the hearing to see what those in charge of the security had to say.
And if you can buy it in the open market, they got the funds to buy it. And if it's anything that has to do with locating illicit goods, communicating via satellite, they're doing it.
One thing was very clear on Capitol Hill today. The cartels can and will take every opportunity to leave law enforcement playing catch-up.
This is a very sophisticated, again, well-resourced transnational criminal organization network.
Experts testifying before Congress said that combating these organizations has become extremely difficult because of lack of resources. Even when law enforcement have intel, time and physical manpower can be a big detriment.
They've got plenty of time to wait to seek the right opportunity to engage in their illegal activity.
Still, Chief Paul Beeson, commander of the Joint Task Force West Arizona, says new technologies could help Border Patrol be more aware and present when illegal activity is happening.
We're going to continue to plug away on technology, certainly on the tactical infrastructure, the barriers, and we need to keep applying those things to really improve the situational awareness that we need along the border.
But according to Congresswoman McSally from Tucson, it is going to take more than just tech to secure our borders.
It's going to take a whole of government, a whole of society effort. It takes a network to defeat the network. This is a unifying issue. Nobody wants cartels trafficking through our communities.
From Washington, D.C., Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
President Donald Trump has chosen law school dean Alexandra Acosta to be his Secretary of Labor after his initial pick, Andrew Puzder, withdrew last night. Acosta served in the Bush administration as an Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. If he's confirmed, he will be the first Hispanic member of Trump's cabinet. President Trump has been critical of how slowly his cabinet picks are being approved, but this morning he got his budget secretary. South Carolina Representative Nick Mulvaney was just barely approved to run the budget office with a 51-49 vote. He's expected to bring the Tea Party a voice in Trump's cabinet.
President Trump's relationship with Russia is still in question following National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's resignation earlier this week. Democratic lawmakers are demanding answers about potential breaches in national security.
What is the hold that the Russians have on President Trump that is dangerous to our democracy and dangerous to our national security?
Republican lawmakers are focusing instead on how the information about Flynn's discussions with Russia reached the media.
I think there should be an investigation as to the leaks of information leaving wherever they're coming from. And if it's classified information, that is criminal, and there should be a criminal investigation of these leaks.
In his first solo press conference today, Trump said he has nothing to do with Russia. Instead, he blamed the press for making up the Russia story to distract from the leaks. Arizona lawmakers are considering a bill that could save lives from cancer.
Coming up on Cronkite News, California banned minors from using tanning beds several years ago. See the impact it had there and what could be in store for Arizona.
And a bill regarding end-of-life care passed an Arizona Senate committee yesterday. Who this bill really protects, coming up.
I'm Scott Pelley, anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. In our changing media landscape, it is crucial for journalism education to ensure a commitment to the truth, unbiased reporting, strong ethics, unwavering fairness, and above all else, accuracy. These are the hallmarks of ASU's Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. It's a place where students can innovate and transform the news industry while always upholding the values of the school's namesake. The Cronkite School at ASU, preparing the next generation for a stronger future of journalism.
Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule, where it's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Access interactive digital and printable program guides, repeat times, and full episode descriptions. Watch program previews of best bets for the coming week. Search by title to find your favorite shows. You can even add programs to your calendar and get email reminders when they're about to start. It's easier than ever to find out what's on Arizona PBS. Discover so much more at azpbs.org/schedule. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online.
As the deadline to file taxes approaches, watch out for IRS scams. That was the advice last night as the Paradise Valley Police Department held a seminar on tax-related scams. An IRS agent talked about the Dirty Dozen, a list of top 12 tax scams from 2016. They include identity theft, phone scams, and fake charities. But you can protect yourself.
Be real vigilant on monitoring your credit. Be real vigilant on monitoring your bank account. And if there's any problems, notify the IRS, notify your local police department immediately.
A Senate bill regarding end-of-life care passed the Human Services Committee yesterday, but confusion still remains as to who exactly this bill protects. Reporter Emma Lockhart shows us how your rights could be affected.
My name is Julie, and I have stage 4, untreatable, incurable, inoperable lung cancer.
Emotions ran high at the hearing meeting for Senate Bill 1439 yesterday. Republican Senator Nancy Bartow introduced the bill that would give healthcare providers more legal protection when deciding what is best for their patients during end-of-life care. Opponents of the bill, like Julie Jones, believe this could strip away their own rights and wishes.
I do not want to be on a ventilator. To me, that would be unconscionable. I am dying. Everybody dies. It's okay.
The bill protects medical professionals from having to provide assisted suicide, euthanasia, and mercy killing, all of which are already illegal in the state of Arizona. This caused confusion for many, asking then what is the purpose of the bill? Senator Bartow says if the Affordable Care Act is repealed, physicians would be at risk in many cases. The chief operations officer at Sacred Heart Hospice says the bill leaves out many exclusions.
This bill just is too broad brushed. It's not saying enough about what it can and can't do.
This leaves many confused and scared for the future. They hope legislation will take their concerns under consideration.
My father died of lung cancer, and if anybody has watched it, really lived it day in and day out, took care of them, cleaned them, fed them, changed them, listened to them scream and beg to go, they would understand.
In Phoenix, Emma Lockhart, Cronkite News.
The bill passed 5-2.
In a push to save lives from skin cancer, the state legislature is considering a bill to ban minors from using tanning beds. A similar initiative was put into place in California 6 years ago. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Jelani Martinez has details on the impact there.
Perhaps it's not surprising that a state known for its natural sunshine and sandy beaches was one of the first to ban teens between 14 and 18 from using tanning devices with ultraviolet radiation.
From my standpoint, this is a phenomenal law, and it's something that I think is going to pay off in dividends for many, many years to come.
Dr. Ashley Wysong surgically removes skin cancer and reconstructs patients at USC's Keck Medical School.
It's a matter of how much ultraviolet exposure you get throughout your entire life. And so tumors that I would normally see in a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old, I'm now seeing in 20-somethings, early 30-somethings.
Businesses feared the law would mean less revenue, but the industry has simply adjusted.
It's pushed a lot of all the teenagers basically to do spray tanning versus UV tanning. Financially, it hasn't affected us at all.
While their image is greatly influenced by social media, it's not easy to convince millennials of the dangers of UV exposure.
We can say you're going to get another skin cancer, but again, people think it's not going to happen to me. But what's been really powerful is we've been using a UV reveal camera.
In a quick snap, the Reveal Imager can show me the UV damage that I otherwise wouldn't be able to see. And according to the American Academy of Dermatology, indoor tanning abuse is associated with a 75% increased risk in melanoma.
You know, I would really urge the citizens of Arizona to take this law seriously and to get out and vote. It's extremely important that we're protecting our young children from the dangers of ultraviolet radiation.
In Los Angeles, Jolani Martinez, Cronkite News.
There are other alternatives to achieving that perfect tan, like spray tans and tropical lotions. Just remember to find a healthy balance to enjoy the sun the safe way by finding the right sunscreen with at least an SPF rating of 30.
The jockey profession has historically been male-dominated.
But a track here in Phoenix is breaking barriers. Coming up on Cronkite News, how a group of jockeys is giving horse racing fans something new to cheer for.
And it's sunny outside, but these warm temperatures are going to drop soon. I'll show you by how much coming up next.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true. Yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. About now.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe it?
Astronomers have found evidence of a 9th planet in our solar system, and now ASU wants your help to find it. A website called Backyard Worlds: Planet 9 was released by ASU astronomers yesterday. Its goal is for people to go online and help find nearby objects in the solar system, like Planet 9. Adam Schneider, a postdoctoral researcher at ASU, is overseeing the project and says the process is simple. You go online, look at images from a telescope, and if you see movement, you mark it. Schneider says this could be an opportunity to make a big impact.
It's literally anyone, you, me, anyone you know, can log on and potentially make a huge discovery with this project. So that's the most exciting part.
If you want to do some stargazing, tonight could be your last chance for a few days. Clouds and rain are in our future. Danielle is in the Weather Center with a look at your weekend forecast.
That's right. We've been tracking that California storm for a while now, and as you can see, especially in these past couple of hours, it's been making its way south, and we're actually going to be seeing some of that rain pretty soon, actually as early as tomorrow morning. So take a look at this. Friday at around noon, around lunchtime, northern Arizona is going to be getting a lot of that rain, even some thunderstorms. And then as we move out throughout Friday and into Saturday morning, it's actually going to be heading into southern Arizona as well. And then Saturday afternoon, it'll be a lot in the valley and even some chances of thunderstorms a little bit heavier near the border. But take a look at this. Temperatures across the state right now are beautiful. Low 50s up in northern Arizona, 77 in Lake Havasu, 79 here in Yuma, and then in the valley we are in those mid 70s across the board. Look at this. 73 in Surprise, 75 in Goodyear, 74 in Maricopa, but these temperatures are going to start to get a little bit lower as we go into the night. So we're in those mid-60s by tonight at 9 p.m. and then it's going to get even colder by tomorrow morning as you're heading to work. You might want to grab that jacket because we're going to be in those mid-50s. So 56 in Phoenix, 50 in Maricopa, and 53 up in Cave Creek. And those temperatures are going to start to warm up a little bit as we get into Friday afternoon tomorrow. So that could be the last 70-degree day that you see for a couple days, though, because look at this. Saturday, we are going to see some of that rain, like I said before, dipping down into those high 60s and low 50s for our low on Sunday. And then as we go into the week, we're going to see those sunny and 70-degree days again. Danielle Kernkamp, Cronkite Weather.
Horse racing has been around since 1665, but it is predominantly male. Our Cronkite News reporter Troy Lynch was at Turf Paradise, where female jockeys are becoming a large part of race day.
There's 7 of them, but I only got to meet 3. I wanted to see all 7, but it's okay. That's nice.
7 out of the 35 jockeys at Turf Paradise in Phoenix are female. That's 20%, double of the jockey colonies across the country. According to the Jockeys Guild, women make up less than 10% of all licensed jockeys in the United States. The percentage of female jockeys at Turf Paradise is double that of jockey colonies around the country. According to Jockeys Guild, women make up less than 10% of all licensed jockeys in the United States.
I was actually working horses in New Mexico over the summer, and I was one of the only female riders there, which was really tough. So coming here, it was really refreshing, I think, to be with a bunch of girls, and they're all supportive of each other, so it's really nice.
Before I came down here, I heard that Turf Paradise, the trainers back here liked women riders, so I think it's just a good place for us to try and get a start.
Natasha mentioned that it's harder for women to get into the jockey business because you have to take a lot of criticism and have a real strong will. But with 7 women jockeys here at Turf Paradise, it brings another element when it comes to race day.
I'm gonna put my money on them. You watch, and they're gonna win.
In a historically male-dominated sport, 7 women already give the fans a lot to cheer about. But it's the diversity of the women that brings fans to Phoenix. Amelia Hochschild is the youngest female jockey on the West Coast at the age of 16. She placed second in her first race in early January.
Being a female jockey right now is kind of, people are trying to support females more. So I think it's a good time to be a female jockey, but definitely I want to prove everybody that we can do everything that the guys can do.
In Phoenix, Troy Lynch, Cronkite News.
In a controversial era of leadership, communities are finding unique ways to come together and offer support.
Coming up on Cronkite News, how a Phoenix community used paint to illustrate messages of hope.
Heaven knows you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
It's no secret that some consider this nation divided, but Phoenix community members are working to bring people together through art. I went down to Roosevelt Row this morning to learn more about painting for peace. In the heart of downtown Phoenix, early this morning, residents gathered outside to share a single message:
that we should love our neighbors and that we should be at peace. And I think that if we have the same message, why are we fighting?
The idea here was for anyone and everyone to write a prayer or a message of hope on the mural and then to paint over it so the message can stay with the mural forever.
So it's a kind of a community collaborated piece of what we all want for peace.
Many of the participants were hopeful that this event will bring positivity and happiness to the community and beyond.
So I hope that people recognize that we can come together and that there's humanity in each one of us.
Many of the messages consist of hope for peace within diversity and different cultures.
I wrote kindness, collaboration, and compromise. I painted over it with sea green. Green is one of the colors of Islam.
Actually, I wrote N-O Jesus equals N-O peace. K-N-O-W Jesus equals K-N-O-W peace.
These murals will be displayed at New City Studio tomorrow night.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, hear from all sides on the Navajo Generating Station. This after owners of the plant voted earlier this week to close the facility in 2019. That's on the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour, making sense of what's driving the rise in the death rate among white men. That's Thursday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.